Pakistani activists speak out against torture of accused blasphemers. Cases of custodial torture in blasphemy cases has raised concern among Pakistani rights activists. Rights groups have found several flaws in the law enacted by the Pakistan Senate 2 months ago, which makes the torture of the accused in custody unlawful. Reports claim that the activists requested a better implementation of the Torture and Custodial Death Prevention and Punishment 2022 bill. Joseph Jansen, chairperson of Voice of Justice, stated that the current blasphemy law neither guarantees the accused a fair trial nor provides them religious freedom. The accuser, on the other hand, receives no consequences even after using fake evidence and false testimony. There is yet any countermeasure to be taken to prevent misuse of the blasphemy law. Jansen further noted that Pakistan's blasphemy laws were inconsistent and incompatible with international human rights standards. Yeah, that is the biggest duh. Activist Ashiknaz Kokhtar has said that digital media and popular social media platforms in the country play a significant role in spreading misinformation. In August, Human Rights Watch said that in order to end Pakistan's custody torture issue, first we have to criminalize the system itself.
This is great progress. This sounds very brave, because how brave do you think this is? Because there's a lot of forces within Pakistan that will consider this to be. We have had people who were executed in the streets by the mob just because they spoke in support of not executing somebody for blasphemy, right? So I don't know. Do you think that
more accurately assassinated?
Assassinated. Well, that's what I mean. Executed. When I said executed, I said in the streets.
And not by a mob. I mean, if you're talking about
yes, not by a mob, but celebrated by a mob, killed by his own bodyguard, right? But but people came and celebrated that assassination in masses. So I don't know if this is like trying to support speaking out against torture of accused blasphemers. Is that something dangerous for these people to do? Because that would be seen by a lot of like radical Muslims as supporting blasphemers. No,
by radicals, yes. Me personally, being a responsible person that has an audience, I personally don't feel comfortable to make an estimation on that. I just have to say I don't know.
Okay, good. Either way, I do think that these people, not even if it's uncertain, that would make these people courageous, in my opinion, because at least the possibility is there. Would you be comfortable telling me how much do you think this is a strong force against because we also have a wave of people demanding more action be taken against blasphemers in Pakistan, right? So compared to that force, how strong do you think this force seems to be?
I also don't have a good estimation on this. And this specific issue is actually itself broader than just people who are accused of blasphemy, because this is actually really getting at tackling a larger issue of torture of people in custody by authorities, which has been very systematic in many cases. So that's something that benefits, all people, right? It's not exclusive to this case. And so I think because of that broader appeal, there might be more success. I mean, they did just pass this torture and custodial death prevention and punishment bill. And, but activists are trying to raise awareness about loopholes and some problems with it. So hopefully that will be addressed.
So, I mean, this is great because, Pakistan, when it comes to the number of blasphemy cases, Pakistan is the worst country in the world, right? When it comes to the number of blasphemy executions, Iran is the worst country in the world, right? But when we say that Pakistan is the worst country when it comes to blasphemy cases, do not this is a good reminder for our audience to not generalize all Pakistanis with an attitude, right? There are Pakistanis who are fighting this. This is just like when you see the Iranian regime and how brutal it is, you don't use it as a way to come up with a judgment for all Iranian people. When you see the level of backwardness and Islamization that you see in Pakistan, you have to understand that there are many secularists, atheists, and even Muslims who do not agree with that level of government involvement or mob mentality when it comes to enforcing Islamic law. There are many people within Pakistan who hate this, who disagree with this, and are shocked by it and are trying to fight against it. And acts like this helps us be reminded of that. So thank you for everybody who's involved in this type of activism. These are people literally on the front lines of such activism. Like me and Susanna are doing this from a safe space. These people are right in the mix of it. And kudos to these people. Hats off to them.
Yeah. And I think one thing that needs to be considered when we're talking about like the blasphemy issue, because there are many different ways that you could break this down, especially when you look at the statistics of the cases and stuff. And based on the most comprehensive statistics that I have found that do have great limitations. And I do have to say that one of the greatest limitations is that the report is that these statistics are derived from relies on media reports, and primarily media reports in languages that the team that created this report could understand, which I think was primarily English and French. And so there are 100% probably a great wealth of cases and incidents that are not included in this data because of lack of linguistic access to this data. But based on what is available, Pakistan has the greatest incidence of violence and I believe registered cases as well when it comes to blasphemy, because it's not just, how many people were killed, how many people were lynched. It should be 0, let's be clear. But it's also like how many people were reported, how many people are facing charges, how many people are, waiting to be indicted, all this stuff. So it's much more complex than just reducing it to, who was executed, who was lynched, There's many different ways in which this issue manifests. So I just wanted to say that because I know that people can get very hung up on how we talk about this data.
Get my best-selling book, Why There Is No God, for free. Click on the link for it in the description.